So, USB 1.0. Boom, Wednesday, 1996. And if anybody actually knows when that came out, I'd like to know that.
Yeah. If it's really a Wednesday.
If it really was a Wednesday.
Guessed good.
It had to have been a Wednesday.
It released as a replacement for multiple ports at the time. Of course, printers used parallel. A lot of COM cables used serial. Unfortunately, we still see those. Game ports, which if anybody did play gaming back there, they were primarily for joysticks and game controllers. And PS2, which is probably the most common and the most likely to have been seen by the everyday consumer for your keyboard and mouse.
Yep, the good old 1.0 had that blazing fast speed of 12 megabits per second.
You could move a lot. 1.5 megabytes in that second of time. You'd only be sitting there for forever if you're transferring one of today's modern files. But luckily,
back in the LimeWire days, you were downloading songs. It was taking almost a whole day to download a song. You could put that one song.
Dial-up internet that just sucks.
Dang straight. You could move a song onto that at the 12 minute. I think it took like a minute to move a 3-minute song. It was amazing.
It was blazing.
Blazing.
Now, when it released, of course, came with everybody's probably commonly seen USB-A, which is your standard USB sticks.
You still see them.
Came out with that, and then USB-B, which commonly seen on scanners and printers.
I say scanners and printers, I think, is the one place. Some of those new Zebra scanners and stuff, you still see them. They're still there.
Still there.
And
now, of course, we have the micros, the minis, and that you'll see on some of the handheld devices.
We'll save that one for the next topic, though, because, you can really get into the C's faster than A, as I've been told. Said nobody.
Said nobody ever.
Too many
knew
times.
anything about anything.
Yes. So 96, you have the launch of 1.0. You got that screaming 12 megabits per second. Next thing you know, you see the 2000s come. Y2K, everything's dying. Everybody's going away.
Except USB.
Except USB. It now grows into this nice 2.0 at 480 megabits per second.
Massive
12 to 480. All because the world's ending.
Yeah. Now you're moving, instead of 1.5 megabytes, you're moving about 60 megabytes, given theoretical limits.
Significantly faster.
Of course,
significantly.
Progress even further. You progress another 8 years, and now we're jumping into the USB 3.0 world. Yeah, 3.0 world.
Yeah, 3.0.
Where we're jumping to 5 gigabit per second. So another 10 times speed boost.
So what people noticed around this time is going from the 1 to the 2 to the 3, to the 4 to the 5 to the 6, dun, dun, dun. Colors change from a white, the black, and now the blue is starting to come out. I know a lot of people, you see it on your thumb drive. You look at that USB-A and you're like, oh, look, there's a pretty color down here. What does this mean?
Yeah, well, you'll typically see black if you're using some older thumb drives, or if they're not using, because the color is a generalization, less of a standardization, right?
Yes.
Blue almost always signifies 3.
Yep. That one you're pretty safe
or 3.2. It's kind of a mix. Some developers may use teal. At that point in time, you also saw the advent of things like the red and the yellows come out as well, which typically indicate your power ports.
So for power is restalls. That you saw that more come along after the 2008 3.0, when we started getting to like the 2013s when the 3.1 came out. That's when you really start seeing those reds and those yellows, because now you're moving from the 5 gigs a second all the way up to 10 gigs a second.
And they wanted an easy way to delineate the ports.
And instead of changing the numbers, they just went from a 3.0 to a 3.1. I guess
this is a full rebrand.
Yeah, instead of changing numbers, making it better, they just gave it the 0.1, but doubled it once again, and then rebranding it to a 3.2.
And the fun fact, on USB 3.0, when it did come out, they actually added pins within the USB connector, which helped with that speed boost as well.
Yeah, that you start seeing the power and the extra speed by getting the extra pins. Forgot about that.
Now, 3.2 later comes out as a rebrand, again, right? Keeps with its Gen 1, sticking with the 5 and the 10, but it also comes out with a Gen 2 version in 2017 that releases as a 20 gigabit per second model, but only available on the USB-C connector. And that's because the USB-C incorporates additional pins on top of that and does multiple lanes worth of data.
Yep. So that was the rebrand of 3.2, and that's when they finally decided to go to the 4.0, which is mostly seen in your Thunderbolts. 2019-ish would have been about the time right before the big COVID scare and everything really happened. But that's where you jump from the 20 gigs to that good old 40 gigabits per second. And now with the use of the Thunderbolts, you're seeing 80s, 100s, 120 gigs per second.
And that's released in the standard. You don't see it as much on devices. You may be able to find it on some cable specs. You may find the odd device that has it, but it's still, even today, it's not commonly put in. You might see it on more so on the Apple products where they incorporate Thunderbolt 4, Thunderbolt 5 ports. But you're not seeing it really on the Windows desktop boards that are coming out today.
Yeah, I'd say more into the filmmaking side of things. I see a lot more going with that USB-C
100%.
Thunderbolt, stuff like that. That's usually where you need those speeds, getting into that movie editing.
And that's where you also saw the addition of colors like purple into the mix and green. Purple being an additional power port, typically in like a high amperage port, and the green being your USB 4.0 color designation, primarily used by companies like Razer.
Razer's the biggest one.
But again, it's a generalization, less so than a standardization.
Yes, in the lower ones, they like the green because the green Razer, they will put those in the smaller, slower ports just to keep with their colors. But
yeah, but they do try to at least standardize something.
They get a little tricky on you sometimes.
Now, fun historical fact of the symbol of the USB. Every part of the symbol actually has meaning. So if you ever notice on the top part of the symbol, there's a triangle and there's a square, and then out the front there's a circle. The circle means power, and the triangle and square both mean data.
What?
Yeah.
I actually did not know that.
Actually, fun fact on it. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Anytime you actually look at the USB symbol, just take a small moment to notate that.
I absolutely knew they meant something. What they meant?
Yeah.
Can you believe it? I never actually looked that up.
Yeah. You'll also see like the SS, which most people know is a super speed port.
That you have to know.
And maybe I'm generalizing most people. Maybe most people in the IT world, we know it means super speed. You'll also see the symbolization. They're adding the swoop, and they're indicating the 20 or the 40 on those ports that are within the standard spec, but really calling it out so it's easier to tell what speed you actually should be expecting on that.
Yeah, so the swoop, you see that more in the 20s and up. That way they kind of quick little glance. You see your little swoop going over, and you know, like, oh, that's where my speed's at.
So when this port came out, what did you see as like your favorite port to get rid of altogether?
So what did I want to get rid of, or what did it get rid of? Because I wanted to get rid of serials, but I know the USB to serial is still very well used, and I hate the USB to serial because it is used way too much. And what's the matter if you got a 4-port, you're still going down to a serial?
See, and then from my perspective, I was happy to see it replace PS2 ports, primarily because you'd get the users that would plug it in and they like force it into the port, and you'd lose pins.
Oh, they're supposed to bend. That's what they're meant to bend. Just take a little
to bend until they snap.
Yeah, just bend them back.
Like serial for the average user, USB's done exactly what it intended to. It got rid of serial ports. In the IT world, of course, unfortunately, there are still specialized devices that companies have hung on to for the COM standard.
Way too many of them.
Yeah. But we did see the pretty much complete, utter elimination of parallel ports as well.
I will say parallel.
That was probably the fastest elimination.
Yeah, printers in that parallel port, definitely with the B standard.
Yeah.
I think that went away as quick as possible. That one didn't take too long.
No,
almost overnight.
PS2 was actually hung on way too long, in my opinion. I still saw PS2 ports on boards in about 2014, 2015, which is unreal considering.
Yeah, I think it was around the 3.0, 3.1 is when they started actually being like, we probably need to get rid of this.
And you find the adapters to make your new mouse compatible with the old ports, or your old mouse compatible, because why would you want to hang on to that mouse with a ball? Like,
I could have fun with the trackballs, tell all the stories, of taking those out, and people would lose those.
The pranks that come with it is...
Yeah, cleaning those rollers on the inside. Jeez, trackballs.
They went from take out the ball to tape the bottom of the mouse to...
it was a hate-hate relationship.
Remove the mouse pad on some of the newer mice until they go to like the laser standard, which those seem to work on pretty much any surface.
Absolutely. So that is your quick 1,000-foot overview on what those colors actually mean, what they actually do, and how much USB has changed in a relatively short amount of time. Within 20 years, I would say.
Yeah.
96 to 2016, 2019 has been some huge leaps forward.
Before you wrap up.
Before I wrap it.
A couple more fun facts for you. USB, in its growth, has grown to be over 10 billion different devices that actually utilize it.
I can see that.
As well as the standard now can carry up to 240 watts of power, which is incredibly insane when you factor in that it's basically a low voltage style cabling. So think on that one for a moment.
240 watts.
Like, that's most computers, mind you.
60 watts and 90 watts.
Yeah, they don't even draw 240. So it's impressive that you could actually push this out off that standard.
I wonder what the device is drawing 240 watts. It's got to be a dock of some sort.
I was going to say it's got to be either a charging high power charging standard for laptops.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point in time, you're really risking the lifetime of your battery
Yeah.
pushing that much power that fast. But I just find it horribly impressive as a standard that's come that far in such a short period of time. You figure this is a 20-year standard so far.
Yep.
And it's went from basically not speed, virtually nothing moving, 1.5 megabytes, which today's standard is basically, hey, by the way, I have a Word document with about probably, 50 pages.
I'll say a couple pages.
Maybe an image in there, and suddenly you're over that limit real fast to 120 gigabit per second. And if we factor that out, that is 15 gigs.
Yeah. 15
gigabytes moved in a second.
You got me thinking though. The speed's I don't remember. I remember it being slow, but I don't really remember it being that slow.
I think it's because when it first came out, we saw it more primarily used in the space of like mice and keyboards. Yep. The controllers started going that way. We didn't see it massively in storage devices initially, and even there, you're comparing at that in the moment the speed comparison of floppy disk write or zip disk write.
Yeah, from big floppy to little 3 floppy to zip.
When you figure magnetic media write time versus, hey, by the way, we're going to write to flash storage, that 12 megabit per second at the time was revolutionary.
This would be a good topic for next time. We could talk about storage, how much storage has changed to the SSDs today. But I think, this is a pretty good touch on the USBs before we get too because we could tangent this. I could tangent this for fun. But yes, I think that
it's a great wrap up. If you guys have questions, you got comments, maybe a fun fact that you want to share with us, let us know, like, subscribe, and comment below.
Catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.